The catalyst for World War I was the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand in 1914. By transcending social barriers, rules, and norms, women in World Wars I and II, as well as the interwar period, were able to make a significant impact on the course of the wars and fight for their own rights along the way.
La Dame Blanche was an undercover network located in Belgium during World War I that observed railroad, airfield, and road activities. Railroad traffic both towards and away from Germany was observed day and night, and each report was collected and verified before being transported to the English agents located in the Netherlands. Thanks to the efforts of La Dame Blanche, no German military convoy could enter occupied areas with the Allied knowledge by the end of World War I. Women made up a large amount of the agents in La Dame Blanche, as it was easier for them to observe the tracks without raising concerns. At the end of the war, La Dame Blanche had over 1,000 official members, but some of them were never recognized for their efforts. Edith Cavell was a British nurse who worked in German-occupied Belgium and helped hundreds of British, French, and Belgian soldiers escape the Germans. Cavell worked in a Red Cross hospital located in Belgium, where she treated soldiers no matter what their nationality was. Through her work, she helped around 200 British, French, and Belgian soldiers escape Belgium and travel to the Netherlands. On August 5, 1915, she was arrested by the Germans for helping the enemy and placed in solitary confinement. On October 7, 1915, Cavell was tried along with 34 others and sentenced to death. 5 days later, she was shot by a German firing squad. Cavell's execution caused outrage in Britain and across Europe, and Cavell became a symbol of the Allied cause, with her image plastered across recruitment posters around Britain.
During World War I, Wanda Gertz von Schliess cut her hair and dressed as a man and called herself Katis, so she could be on the front lines. In 1917, she joined the women's branch of the Polish military organization and was jailed for participating in a pro-Polish demonstration. Grace Banker was a telephone operator who served during World War I operating for the American Expeditionary Forces in the U.S. Army Signal Corps. She led 33 women telephone operators known popularly as Hello Girls. They were assigned in New York to travel to France to operate telephone switchboards at the warfront in Paris, and also operated at telephone switchboards at First Army headquarters. Despite the crucial effort that the Hello Girls had on the war, they were not initially given recognition as members of the military.
After World War I, the most profound effect for women was increased rights when countries recognized how much impact European women had in the war. In 1918, the year the war ended, women in Britain were given the right to vote. Shortly after the war ended, women in Germany and all newly created countries except for Yugoslavia were allowed to vote. Due to the pressure forced upon them by suffrage groups and all that women did in the war, major politicians made the decision to allow women in their respective countries to vote.
Shortly after the war ended, many women were put out of their jobs. When men went off to fight in the war, their jobs were left open and many women took their place. Once they returned, women were put out of their jobs, and in Britain, for example, they were not allowed to access unemployment benefits unless they took up the open jobs in domestic services. Women all around the world were demoted back to the women's work like cleaning, cooking, or child's care. With advocacy for their rights, the brave women who fought for the sexual equality in society, women mostly left the heavy battle combat for the men and focused on auxiliary positions like communication, logistics, first aid, and documentation. Although in 1942 to 1944, women fighting in the undergrounds became more significant. Many influential women helped save countless amounts of lives throughout the years of World War II. Vitica Kempner-Kovner was a leader of small units in the Vilna Ghetto. Her team sabotaged railways with homemade bombs to save as many passengers inside as they could. Zivia Lubkin helped Jews escape through the sewers in the Warsaw Ghetto and was one of the leaders in the Polish Warsaw Uprising in 1944. These brave souls are examples of the countless courageous women that put their lives on the line to save as many people as they could.
In 1942 and 1943, Irina Sendler smuggled people out of the Warsaw Ghetto in Poland. Enlisting members of the Social Welfare Department, Sendler used ambulances, body bags, and fake documents to smuggle out more than 2,500 children. Sendler was eventually caught and put in prison but escaped and went on to be nominated for the Nobel Prize, despite her regret that she was not able to help more children escape. Sendler liberated many children in World War II and was a hero to all those that she freed.
In June 1940, Joan Clark was recruited to work as a codebreaker at Bletchley Park in Buckinghamshire to help break Enigma, the German code that was previously thought to be uncrackable. Joan assisted in a cryptanalytic process designed by Alan Turing, the leader of the team, and was an essential figure in the cracking of Enigma, a feat which historians estimate shortened World War II by 2 years. In 1942, Anne Frank, a young Jewish girl, hid from the Nazis with her family in a small annex in Amsterdam. Anne documented this period of her life in her diary. In 1944, Anne and her family were discovered and captured by the Nazis. Anne later died in 1945 at the Bergen-Belsen concentration camp only a few weeks before liberation. Anne's diary was published by her father, the only surviving member of her family, in 1947. It is full of wisdom and intellect, and to this day it reminds people of the tragic loss of potential suffered during the Second World War.
The concluding event to World War II was the Potsdam Conference.
Countless women shaped the course of World Wars I and II as they fought for their rights and their liberation. Their stories, despite their importance, have been undermined and brushed aside by those with the privilege of writing history, men in positions of power. In order to fully understand not only the Second 30 Years' War, but also our world as a whole, it is crucial that we uncover and celebrate the remarkable accomplishments of women throughout history.